Imagine a bridge so ambitious it could redefine a city's skyline. A structure meant to glide over turquoise waters, link an international airport to a booming business hub, and become a symbol of national pride. Now imagine that same bridge, half built, half forgotten, quietly waiting for a second chance. This is the story of Doha's Sharq Crossing, a $12 billion dream designed by one of the world's most famous architects, Santiago Calatrava. A project once hailed as Qatar's next global icon, but which now stands at a crossroads between revival and abandonment. Doha is no stranger to ambition. Over the past 2 decades, Qatar's capital has transformed from desert coastlines into a showcase of wealth, culture, and modern architecture. After winning the right to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup, the nation set out to build museums, islands, stadiums, and entire smart districts, each one larger and more daring than the last. Among these visionary projects was one that promised to literally reshape the map of Doha, the Sharq Crossing. The plan was as breathtaking as it was bold: 3 sweeping bridges connected by submerged tunnels stretching across Doha Bay, linking Hamad International Airport with West Bay, Qatar Cultural Village, and new coastal developments. At nearly 12 kilometers long, it would be part engineering marvel, part architectural sculpture, a seamless highway both above and below the sea. To the world, it was an image of progress. To Qatar, it was supposed to be a legacy. But when the numbers came in, the excitement turned to disbelief. $12 billion for a single city crossing. That made Sharq one of the most expensive infrastructure projects ever proposed per kilometer. The cost wasn't arbitrary. Every element of the design was complex. Massive underwater tunnels requiring specialized segments and ventilation systems, sculptural bridges with curved pylons rooted deep into marine foundations, and intricate interchanges that had to connect seamlessly to existing highways without disrupting airport routes. It was a masterpiece on paper, but on the ground, it meant engineering on a knife's edge. For a small nation already spending tens of billions on World Cup projects, it was a heavy financial lift. And by 2015, murmurs of delay began to surface. Oil prices were dipping, national budgets tightened. The government faced a tough question: could Doha afford another mega project right now? The Sharq Crossing was meant to be more than a bridge. It was a statement, but reality had its own timeline. Reports suggested construction was postponed while the country focused on the World Cup and other priority developments. Years passed, new designs were rumored, costs were quietly reviewed, environmental and logistical studies were revisited. The once loud buzz around Sharq Crossing grew silent. Then, whispers of revival returned. Local media mentioned a possible reboot, this time with a smaller price tag. The new estimate? Around $2 billion. That drastic reduction hinted at a redesign. Maybe simpler bridges, shorter tunnels, or a phased plan. The question lingered: could the reimagined version retain Calatrava's original vision, or would it lose its soul in the name of practicality? To understand why this project captivates so many, you have to see it through human eyes. Picture the engineers and workers arriving before sunrise, preparing steel molds and diving into saltwater construction zones. Picture the planners who once pitched it as a national landmark, promising shorter commutes and stunning views. And then picture the ordinary residents, watching news updates fade into silence, wondering if they'd ever drive across it. For some, Sharq Crossing is a symbol of Doha's unstoppable progress. For others, it's a warning, a project where vision may have outpaced necessity. The same bridge that once embodied pride now divides opinion. Doha isn't alone in facing this dilemma. Around the world, megaprojects often walk the same tightrope between glory and failure. In China, the Sino-North Korean Bridge to Nowhere stood unused for years, one side finished while the other never began. In London, the Garden Bridge, an extravagant pedestrian crossing, was cancelled after swallowing millions in public funds. Even the completed Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, though operational, drew criticism for its near $19 billion cost. These projects show a universal truth: ambition can inspire nations, but it can also expose their limits. The bigger the dream, the heavier the burden when it falters. Sharq Crossing's challenges weren't just financial, they were physical. Building across a living bay means contending with tides, currents, and shifting sediment. Underwater tunnels require airtight precision. A single misalignment can jeopardize safety. The bridge's aesthetic complexity, Calatrava's signature sweeping arcs and twisting pylons, demanded custom materials and construction techniques. Add Qatar's extreme temperatures, marine corrosion, and limited local fabrication capabilities, and you get one of the most technically demanding bridge projects in the world. Every delay costs millions. Every design tweak ripples through hundreds of engineering calculations. It's not just a bridge, it's a puzzle made of concrete, steel, and time. Today, the Sharq Crossing stands at a turning point. Officials haven't declared it dead, but they also haven't fully revived it. Some insiders believe Doha will eventually revisit the project once economic conditions stabilize. Others think it will be scaled down permanently, replaced by smarter, more flexible transport upgrades, like expanding metro lines or rerouting highways. The truth is, the bridge may never open as originally imagined. But that doesn't mean it won't evolve into something different, simpler, more sustainable, and better aligned with the city's future. Beyond steel and finance, Sharq Crossing teaches us about the nature of modern ambition. Megaprojects are not just feats of engineering, they're mirrors reflecting a nation's confidence, identity, and sometimes, its excess. Every city wants a symbol, a skyline signature that says, "We've arrived." But symbols come with responsibility. When cost exceeds utility, a project risks turning from a source of pride into a monument of waste. If Doha manages to resurrect Sharq Crossing in a smarter way, through phased construction, transparent budgeting, or sustainable materials, it could transform from a near failure into a model of evolution. The difference lies not in what's built, but in how it adapts. The story of Sharq Crossing resonates far beyond Doha's shores. Around the world, cities are racing to outbuild one another, taller towers, longer tunnels, faster trains. But the race often overlooks the question of endurance. What truly lasts? In an era of tightening budgets and rising environmental awareness, the most visionary city may not be the one with the most iconic skyline, but the one that balances imagination with realism. Sharq Crossing could yet symbolize that shift, from limitless ambition to thoughtful design, from extravagance to efficiency. Every bridge is, at its core, a promise to connect, to unite, to endure. The Sharq Crossing still carries that promise, even in silence. Perhaps one day, its arches will rise from the bay, cars will glide through its tunnels, and Doha's skyline will reflect Calatrava's dream. Or perhaps it will remain a sketch in history, a story of what might have been. Either way, its legacy is already written, not in concrete, but in conversation. It reminds us that progress isn't measured by what we build, but by the questions we dare to ask when the building stops. So the next time you see a rendering of an ambitious megaproject, ask yourself, is it a bridge to the future or a bridge to nowhere? And maybe, just maybe, the world's most expensive bridge doesn't need to open to teach us its most valuable lesson. The Sharq Crossing may or may not open, but its story will forever stand as a monument to human ambition and the thin line between vision and reality.